Hi and welcome to Religion and Popular Culture, a brief overview of the course website. This is the welcome page for the course. It gives you some basic information about how we are setting the stage for the course. You can see here information about the textbook, which also includes a link to an ebook that you can rent from the publisher for $20 US for 6 months. You can also, of course, get the book from the library or from an online bookseller. From this page, you can also get the course handbook, which is up to date as of now and will continue to be updated as necessary, but please recall that the website is the most up-to-date information. So if there's a conflict between the course handbook and the website is correct. This welcome page gives you goals and learning outcomes, but I think most importantly, it invites you to think about whether this course is for you or not. Online learning is not easier than classroom learning. In fact, it can be more difficult because it requires your own discipline and some technological skills and so on. If you have any concerns, therefore, there is a website that you can click on here that gives you a bit of a self-assessment quiz to determine if the course is right for you. Assuming that it is, I invite you then to look in particular at two tabs, the Course Policies tab and the Requirements tab. Now, there are these drop-down menus, but note that if you click on the tab itself, you get that which is described in the title. So the course policies is just at the click with some detailed information at the drop-down menu. Please read all of the course policies. It gives you a lot of information about the expectations of the course. Likewise, the requirements tab gives you all of the course requirements. There's a blog assignment, there are reading assignments, reading response papers, and a final exam, as well as a short reflective exercise called critical incident questionnaires that are done 4 times through the semester. Those are laid out here on the main tab and then in more detail in the drop-down menus. So there's a lot of information for each of these assignments. We will also be talking about them in the tutorials that are held on Wednesday at 10 a.m. So you can ask questions if you can attend those tutorials, and also if you can't, you can email me and I can answer the questions in the tutorials, and they will be available, the recordings of them will be available for consultation later. So please look over this material in these two tabs. Most of your questions should be answered there. Now, week by week, we are looking at 12 different topics, and under the lecture topic links, you can see the overall titles of the different subject matter for each week. Then there are pages, launching pages for each of the 12 weeks, as you can see here. From the launching page, you will see that there is movement from one module to the next. And every week there are 4 modules, as you can see: introduction, lecture, activity, and response. The introduction is a brief overview lecture, very brief, usually 10 to 15 minutes, with some readings and the learning outcomes and so on. So you will begin on Mondays with this material and then proceed through the subsequent material. Now, one thing to note on this how to use the lecture topics pages is that it lays out the basic structure here, so please take a look at this page. I've also included a chart that lays out what will probably work every day of the week for each week. There is material to be studied every week. There is writing that's due every week. So this isn't an easier course than a typical in-class course. It's easily as much work, perhaps even more. And this chart will help guide you from Monday through Sunday on what you ought to be doing each week. And it gives you a sense that, for example, you should be doing the introduction lecture and activity materials by Wednesday before the tutorial, and then prepare your response Wednesday after the tutorial and submit it no later than 5 p.m. on Thursday. Then doing the peer assessment of the response papers. You'll understand those terms better when you look over the requirements. So this chart will give you an idea of how the course works week by week, and then these pages will give you an easy way to step through each of the 4 sections for each week. Now, there is a course textbook that I mentioned at the outset that's available by an ebook, or you can get from an online bookseller. Course readings are behind a password-protected page. The password will be emailed to registered students. And in this section, there are subsequent readings or additional readings to that which is in the textbook. Now, for week 1, the introduction of the textbook is appended here in the course reading, simply because you may not have had a chance to get the book, but I urge you to get the book as quickly as possible, because we'll be reading all of it, basically, for the course, plus this additional material. One of the, if not the most important exercise in the course, that is your work on course blogs. Every student is required to create a blog with 3 posts, and all of the blogs will be gathered in this space. So this is left over from last year when I still had group work for the blogs. We don't have group work this year. I gathered links to all of the pages that were created by students in the class. Once you've created or just initiated your medium.com blog page for this course, you will send me the link and I'll post it up here so that other students in the course can read the material that you've posted, because this is what learning is all about. It's about sharing ideas and so on. If you go to the medium.com, you will see our course blog, which I have created and to a certain extent maintain. It gives you an idea of what the course blog looks like. Medium.com is a very simple third-party platform for blogging, and I think it's one of the easiest to use, which is why I've chosen it. Here is a blog post that I created to give you an idea of sort of the expectations that we have of our blog posts, that they should be rich with information, with analysis, with correct links to external source material, with audio visuals, and so on. So this just gives you a sense of what a blog post should look like. It is not coincidental that I'm using the film Snowpiercer for this example, because Snowpiercer is a wonderful examination of the way in which religion and popular culture are manifest in one another. So if you haven't seen the film, I highly recommend it. It's something that we'll be talking about in the course, and if you want to know more about my analysis of it, please read that blog post. So there's a lot of material on the website. If you prefer a sitemap, it's all laid out here. As you can see, there are hot links to the material for week 1, but not for subsequent weeks. They will be published week by week so as not to overwhelm you, and you can always come here to get to all of the links if you don't want to navigate the tabs. That's a brief overview of the course website and indeed of the course itself. We are looking at the intersection of religion and popular culture, primarily as scholars, but also as participants in popular culture. So a lot of the material that we'll be looking at will be of interest to you, and the blogs that you create will naturally be of interest to you and could in fact be of very current types of material. But I want to remind everyone that we're doing this on a scholarly basis, so some of the material that we're looking at is not what some of you might consider really cutting-edge contemporary popular culture, but it is material that has had some scholarly analysis. So that's part of our task as scholars, is to engage with scholarship and to build on scholarship. If you have any questions about the course website or indeed the course, please contact me at my email, which is jennifer.harris@utoronto.ca. You can see an image of it down here. And this is my office at the University of Toronto, and I look forward to meeting you online and working with you on this subject matter. Take care.